National Crime Victims' Rights Week is a nationwide commemoration of the impact of crime on victims and communities. And so for our agency, we want to get our population and our staff involved as much as possible.
We all have the ability to be energized and creative and think outside the box. You know, our job is to help our victims be better, but we have 4 regional advocates throughout the state that work very closely with our local partners in all the Commonwealth offices, work with our facilities and our probation offices, as well as the victims providing post-sentencing services.
Each year there's a new theme. And so for this year, the theme was rights, access, and equity. We give them the opportunity to kind of take that and run with it. And we get really excited each year to see the level of creativity, because each of our facilities and districts has its own personality, and we really want to see that come through.
This is National Crime Victims' Rights Week. There are so many people whose lives are impacted by the actions of others. And this is an important day today because we're going to have a 5K race beginning at 10 o'clock here.
We are in Radford, we're at Bissett Park, and we are doing a joint run for National Crime Victims' Rights Week. We are partnering with the Radford Floyd Victim Witness and with the Women's Resource Center of the New River Valley to bring awareness to what victims of crime go through.
Hi, good morning. We're thankful for Sarah and others on the team for making today possible. Families are out and about enjoying this beautiful day.
We want to bring awareness to crime victims and make sure that people are aware of that crime victims have rights in the criminal justice system and their voices are heard.
We've got law enforcement here, we've got EMS here, we've got probation officers here, we've got all sorts of community folks, we've had the mayor came out.
And it's so important that we do this because it really takes a community to help those who have been impacted by the actions of others to recover. One of the nice things about this is we can come out to show our support, show our desire to make sure that their rights are preserved, and also to help people grow and evolve and move forward.
Hello everybody, are we ready to run?
Yeah.
We are the New River Valley's Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Victim Agency. We provide shelter and advocacy and counseling and education around the issues of sexual and domestic violence. And for us, it's really about building community partnerships and showing victims that we believe them and that the system is here to support them.
Well, I actually wanted to bring my parents up today because I want to raise victim awareness. You know, there's a lot of people that don't understand that men can be victims too.
This is great. I love everybody coming together, great community.
Feel great. Great start to a Saturday morning.
I'm still standing.
Crime Victims Week is important to me because I am a crime victim. In 2003, my estranged husband of 28 years broke into my house while I had an active protective order, and I ended up getting stabbed 8 times. Being a crime victim, I realized how important the services that the state of Virginia has. Even though the crime is over and the court case is over, they're still victims and we still help them.
I had a friend who would have died if she hadn't had a women's shelter to go to, and her husband he was looking for her, and he ended up killing himself. So if it hadn't been for that shelter, it saved her life, so I thought of her.
The Department of Corrections' goal is to provide public safety and to help people be better. And doing that, having events like this all across the state, and this is just the beginning.
We made it! I don't think I can do it.
It is an accomplishment. Yeah, you just think about all the people you're doing it for and it's a lot easier.
Attention community, everybody please circle around the pavilion.
We're out here at Brunswick CCAP today, and they were hosting a 5K walk for the inmates and staff to commemorate National Crime Victims' Rights Week.
We even have our ambassador buttons. We wanted to make more of the staff aware what was going on.
Crime impacts so many people on so many different levels.
So with National Crime Victims' Rights Week, we're able to say this is who we are, this is what we do, and this is who we do it for.
As you walk,
You're taking one step forward at a time.
So it's really opening up the conversation and bringing about that awareness, and then they're taking that back to their families, their friends, whether it's a cognitive community or just their community inside the facility.
And including them into it, we're like asking them to buy into what we're selling, which is trying to be a voice for victims.
We've been doing events all over the state. We've had facilities and probation districts get really creative this year. This week is that opportunity to kind of step outside of themselves and recognize the harm that they have caused to other people.
Welcome everyone. We are here to commemorate some of our Victim Speakers Bureau during National Crime Victims' Rights Week. What you see around the room right now are some posters. These are from the inmates and probationers or parolees that we supervise.
We were able to celebrate our first annual Victim Speakers Bureau luncheon here at our headquarters in Richmond. We've worked really hard to bring together a group of crime victims and survivors that go into our prisons and speak, whether it's virtually or in person, with our population and share their story about how crime impacted them.
I'm a victim of sexual assault, so I'm always very sensitive to whether people believe me or people, are gonna take what I say okay.
As a victim, we've had so much power taken away from us, and it's giving us a chance to finally take the power back and choose what we get to do with it.
Being in a room with so many people who are so focused on victims and victims' rights is like the culmination of National Crime Victims' Rights Week for me.
We had staff from the governor's office, from the OAG's office, from DCJS, and our agency executives all get together here at headquarters. They got to see our annual poster competition that was displayed proudly in the lobby.
It's about the conversations, the dialogues that we have with those that are doing the posters that bring them into awareness and accountability, to help them understand that what they did that put them in the system hurt someone else, and how do I make up for what I did? How do I be a better person?
Victims don't ever plan what's going to happen to them, whereas the victimizer made those plans, for them. Some people are born in life to find their niche and what they need to do in life, and despite circumstances, I know what I am and what I was meant to be as far as put on this earth to produce, and that's art. We tend to want, as a population, to want the best foot forward. I would take it upon myself to try to dig within me to find the message with the theme that they wanted produced. So I came up with the image that I called Impressions. The fingerprint, you can't have crime without the criminal and that print. And you can't have that also, sadly enough, without that victim and they wearing that print for the rest of their lives. And then I put the maze to include the confusion of being able to find your way through to the programs that I listed inside of the fingerprint to get that help.
How do we expect inmates to know what the impact of their crime has been if we don't tell them? For me, 35 years after a sexual assault, I still have impacts from that every day. When you share that with inmates, that what happened to me was so long ago, it rings a bell with them, that this is not just over and done with, it has long-lasting impacts.
It's amazing to see smiles on the faces of people who have the strength to walk into a facility and share probably one of the worst days of their lives to try and help change an inmate's life, to change the trajectory and the path that they're going to take once they're released from prison.
Being open-minded enough to walk in and talk and have a conversation, it's not a lecture for me, it's always this very give and take conversation, and growth happens in that space. And I think if we're willing to let that growth happen, it's kind of magical.
Every little thing that we do that brings awareness is going to help people be better, whether it's a victim surviving what happened to them or a perpetrator that learns a new way.
They're learning. They really are learning from the program, and that's just, it's amazing.
I recognize the hurt. I recognize, what needs to be done. I recognize a need for help, a need for the programs.
This week was the largest Victims' Rights Week that our agency has had to date. The level of collaboration that happened at a local and statewide, not only amongst interdepartmental, but also with our collaborative partners in the community, has just been groundbreaking for this year. And we had the largest social media campaign that we've ever had. So it was so great to see staff and inmates get involved so much in what we're doing, so much more than they've ever done in the past. Crime victimization shouldn't be a taboo topic. It should be talked about because there can be healing on both sides. Our agency's mission is to help people to be better, and we really want to encourage not only our staff to stay involved and get more involved, but also our inmate population to continue this conversation and talking about it because we want to see that level of growth.